you have to be okay with failure. And I don't mean failure in the sense that you didn't accomplish something. Failure in the sense that you aren't going to know everything. You have to ask questions. You have to learn from mistakes.
BusinessJournalDaily.com. 3 Minutes With is brought to you by Farmers National Bank.
The following is an excerpt from the Brain Gain Navigators series. For more information on this series, click on the Brain Gain tab at BusinessJournalDaily.com.
The engineering world gives you a myriad of opportunities. I mean, people think, well, there's civil, mechanical, electrical. Just take civil like we are, for instance. Within civil, there's still 5 or 6 different avenues you could go within civil engineering. There's so many possibilities that it really is a great career to get into. And the fact that you can go many different directions and you can change directions midstream and still not lose a lot of knowledge base that you've gained over the years makes it a really fulfilling career and a great one to go into. It's kind of like you have to start at the end and kind of think backwards, right? You have to know the overall goal, like what is my intent with this project? And kind of work backwards a little bit to know where your starting point is. But a lot of the times it starts with a survey, a simple survey, in which is nothing more than seeing what's existing out into the field. What are we working with? What's our blank canvas like? And what constraints are we having there? Things of that nature. Then it kind of morphs into, all right, we know the objective, now how do we get there? And it'll start with what kind of equipment do we need, or how are we getting from point A to point B with pipe, different things like that. But one of the key things that sometimes gets lost, like I said, is that end game. And if you don't have an overall big picture, it's easy to get lost in some of the weeds and the detail. But once you have your equipment selected, or what type of equipment you're selecting, then it kind of goes into the sizing of the equipment. How big of this piece do we need, or can we get away with multiple smaller units, things like that. So it's not like kind of cut and dry, but a lot of stuff that I do in the treatment plant realm, it's kind of all resides on that equipment selection next. Once we get to that, it's kind of making it fit within a space. Do we have existing space? Do we have to build new space? Things like that. So you think you start with the building, but you don't. You technically have to start with your equipment and then meet all the codes with footprint and different things like that. So there's a lot of thought process that goes into getting to that end game. Ever since I can remember, I like taking things apart, seeing how things work, why, and understanding why they work. That's a big part of it, is why things are the way they are. My dad's an engineer, so he was in the water business as well. So it kind of was a nice transition. That's how I got exposed to it, and I kind of took it from there and went off on my own path. But he kind of laid the groundwork, and like I said, I was always interested in what he was doing and why things were the way they were, and how water gets from point A to point B, pumping, gravity, all that fun stuff. So it started very early on, and there wasn't much of once I decided I wanted to do things like that, build things and fix things, there wasn't any straying from that. I didn't really consider anything else when I was searching for a career. The one biggest piece of advice that I give to a lot of people when they ask about engineering, and some people don't like it when I say it, but you have to be okay with failure. And I don't mean failure in the sense that you didn't accomplish something. Failure in the sense that you aren't going to know everything. You have to ask questions, you have to learn from mistakes, or you have to, this calculation says this, but I know it can't be right logically. You have to be able to understand that and be okay with that. Some people don't like the word failure. You learn from that, and it drives you to be a better person, a better engineer, and be more successful. So I give that all the time, that I don't know everything, and you're never going to know everything. So you have to be okay with answering questions, talking with other people, and being in a true collaborative work environment, because that's how you best benefit your client, you benefit the project, the company. Everything wins when you get the best possible solution through collaboration.
BusinessJournalDaily.com. 3 Minutes With is brought to you by Farmers National Bank.
I like a bank that's a pillar in my community.
I like a bank so cutting edge, they have a lab branch.
We are so alike.
Well, we do both bank at Farmers National Bank.
Farmers.
Stand strong.